The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 25 grams of glucose syrup to the 500 grams of icing sugar in there.
75.
25,
Oh, 25.
all right? And what this will do is it would allow us to make an icing that will stay nice, elastic, and it allows us to do a ribbon, and it should stay put on the eclair when we've put it in place. So it's quite thick. Do you want to start by putting 5 tablespoons of water into this, and then we're going to start and work it?
1.
Yeah, 1.
2.
Okay. And it is better when you're making icing to put less water in, because you can always add more later,
Smoking.
but you can't take it out once it's in. And now, very carefully, and you can see all the icing sugar starting to
Go everywhere.
yeah, and we just gradually work it in.
Is it going to change texture at all, or just?
It is, and you will see. Have you seen already? It's starting to collapse, right? And it might seem dry for the moment.
It's already starting to go down so much.
And this is something you can't hurry. You just need to be careful with it, because your icing sugar otherwise will just go everywhere, and that could be a disaster. I think that will take a little bit more water, so if you want to put 1 more tablespoon of water into that.
How do you judge how much water it needs?
Because I'd rather add it a little bit stage by stage.
So what texture do you want it to have?
You'll see in a moment. It's very difficult to describe, but it needs to be really quite stiff. Can you see how much that little bit of water, how much difference it's made already?
It looks like a big ball of fluff. No, not of fluff, of lumps.
Yeah, it does, and it will do for the moment. And it's worth persevering. As it stands, that is not usable because it's too stiff.
So it's like dough, basically.
It is, but if we start to add more water into that, then what will happen when we put it onto the eclairs is just going to fall off and go drips down the side, which is not where we want to be. So the way of changing the texture of it is to warm it slightly, right, to make it work, so that we can get a layer of it on top of the eclairs.
So could you use a microwave?
Well, that will be the easiest way of doing it, because you can put it into a pan and warm it up on the stove a little bit, but you can't control it. Or we could put this over a pan of boiling water to warm it.
Okay.
But we need to be very careful about not getting it too warm, and we need around 30-35 degrees, so that sort of temperature.
Okay, so if you've got a microwave,
it would be
you
perfect.
want it about 5 seconds at full power, so 800 watts.
Yes, and then take it out and give it another stir and see how you get on. Could you give that a go for me?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. So you can see now how it's all come together.
Yeah.
Right, as a lump, and so much so that we can pick it out of the bowl.
And play with it.
Yeah, so we're going to break it into 2, like that. And we're going to leave that as natural, and we are going to now warm that very slightly, and then add some cocoa powder and turn it into chocolate fondant. But when we add the cocoa powder, we're going to have to add just a tiny bit more water to it. So, could you just warm that slightly in the microwave for me?
Warm this before putting the chocolate.
Absolutely, yes, please, thank you. And just a few seconds.
I'm going to put it in for 5 seconds.
Okay, that sounds good. How does that feel?
I don't know if that's too hot.
No, that's fine. You see, because there's very little water in there, and so it will heat up very, very quickly. So, now, can you please put in 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, please?
1.
Yep, 1 full tablespoon. That's right, lovely, well done. Just straight in. Knock it on the side of the bowl. There we go. Okay. And could you then put in another half a teaspoon of water, or in fact a quarter teaspoon, yeah, which is the tiny one, because the cocoa powder will dry it, and we just need to
make sure that it stays wet.
That's all. Cool. All right, and so now we're back to the same thing of just gradually working it with the spoon and incorporating our cocoa powder.
If you really wanted to, would you be able to do that with your hands? Mix it with your hands.
Yes, you could, right? But you'd end up with cocoa. You'd end up with cocoa hands, yeah. Right. And once the cocoa is actually fairly well or starting to get mixed in, is probably the easiest way of doing it. And now, just work it by hand like that. And it is better just to add a bit of water as you need it, because once the water's in, you can't take it out, right? And then if you get too much, and then you have to end up adding more sugar to it. Let's put that back into our bowl. There we go.